Okay, Chatty Cathy, part 2. I guess the other one went over, so now I'm going to have to learn how to edit this stupid thing because I refuse to do part 1 again. Okay, so some of us were either too immature or too socially retarded, or maybe not in a situation that was safe, either physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually, to say anything. I couldn't get up from the table at age 10 and identify what I was feeling and voice it to the people around me and say, I need blank. Okay? First of all, I didn't even know what was going on. All I knew is that when I got up from the table, I wanted to eat more. And if I had said something to my parents, they probably would have fainted. Like, what are you talking about? You know. So I didn't have any tool in my toolbox to deal with that situation. So I learned that if I stuffed enough bread and butter in my face and got this sort of comfy, bloaty feeling, I no longer felt that other uncomfortable thing that I couldn't even identify. All right? So it's nobody's fault. It's just the way it was. So a lot of us learn that, right? A lot of us start drinking to be cool. A lot of us start smoking to be cool. There's all kinds of excuses going in. But it boils down to situations that we don't otherwise know how to deal with. When we're born, we're like a C drive. We're empty. We can cry, we can eat, we can pee, we can poop, and we can sleep. That's our toolbox when they bring us home from the hospital. And everything else is learned. The ability to identify our feelings, the ability to express our feelings, the ability to communicate. We learn how to go potty in the toilet. We learn how to walk and talk and feel. We learn how to interact with other people. And some of us have better teachers than others, and some of us come out with better toolboxes than others. And some of us get addicted along the way and get stunted, because one of the side effects of addiction is emotional, social stunting. Okay? For instance, being a teenager. Dude, there are certain things you learn as a teenager you just have to learn. You have to learn who you are, what you want, how to speak up, how to stand up for yourself. All of that comes through the teen years. And you develop social skills in the teen years. That's what proms and activities and dances and groups and all of that is all about. You're learning social skills, you're learning interaction skills, you're learning who you are, where you fit in, what your personal boundaries are. If you go through the teen years stoned or drunk or stuffing your face and isolated at home, you're not going to learn those things. And you're going to be 25 years old and still not know those things. And you're going to be 40 years old and you're still not going to know those things. It's when you stop the addiction and you start the recovery process that you pick up where you left off and you start learning what you needed to learn all along, and you grow up. And you fill your toolbox. And it's an inventory process. So when I looked in my toolbox at 10 years old, there was nothing there for me. 20 years later, in my recovery process and through a lot of therapy, I learned what was I feeling, how would I express that next time, who would I express it to, and how would I get that need filled other than standing in front of the bread box stuffing my face with bread and butter. Okay? So if you stop growing up socially at 15 or 20 or 25, you get stuck. You get stuck. And it's rude in the early days of recovery to realize that your toolbox is empty or it's full of some tools that are broken. And there are some good tools in there too. Like I said, this is not a blame game. It's an inventory game. And you got to go through the toolbox and you got to figure out, okay, this is a good tool. I'll keep that one. This one's broken. This one's missing completely. And this one I totally don't need. This one's a negative tool and I'm going to throw it away. So some of us developed addiction as a way to cope. and you go through and you cross the line, and next thing you know, you're a chronic alcoholic, you're a chronic drug addict, you're filing bankruptcy, you're way overweight, and you've got health issues, you're in financial ruin. I mean, right? There's a point where you hit bottom and you realize I have a problem. How to get over it. I got 5 minutes. Here we go. Number one, you got to get off the stuff, right? You can't get clear and you can't grow and you can't be self-aware if you're stoned or drunk or high or stuffed or throwing up or whatever. So you got to clear your head if you've got an addiction that makes you not right in the head, okay? Number one. And that's why AA and NA and all those programs were so important when they became part of our culture, because they got people off the stuff, and you can't do anything on the stuff. I mean, you've ever tried talking to a drunk? They're not coherent and intuitive and, forget it. So you got to get off the stuff. And that's kind of what our surgery does. It gives us this little window of time where it sort of does for us what we couldn't do for ourselves, right? But it's a window of opportunity. And I think what happens when the honeymoon phase, which is where I'm at, and the cravings return and the appetite returns and the behaviors want to start coming back, because I can no longer stand in front of a bread box and stuff bread and butter into my face to feel better. I have to find something else to do. And this is where a lot of the messages and videos I've been getting this week are all about this struggle. So, you're off the stuff and you're starting to feel the feelings. So here's where it starts. Number one, it's time to tell the truth. Tell the truth. The truth shall set you free. Tell the truth. Tell the truth to yourself and tell the truth to those who love you. And you'll learn real quick who really loves you and who doesn't, and who will stand by you and who won't. Okay? But start telling the truth. No matter what it is, tell the truth. Number two, ask yourself before you put whatever it is in your mouth or in your glass or hit the mall or whatever, what is it that I really want? There are certain addictions that have certain personality traits. Smoking is an anger addiction. That's why people who quit smoking get really, really grumpy. Tends to stuff and bury a lot of anger. It's a stress addiction. Food tends to be a loneliness and a disease of isolation. So at 10 o'clock at night when everybody's in bed and we're foraging in the kitchen looking for something to eat, it's not really the food we're after. We're actually probably dealing with boredom, loneliness, or fatigue. And somewhere along the line, we didn't learn how to find something interesting to do, reach out and connect with someone, or go to bed. And that's what we need to learn now. Okay? So before this happens, the question is, what am I really feeling? What do I really need? What do I really want? What do I have to do to get it? And when you answer those questions and fill your toolbox with healthy things, the compulsion will no longer be there, because you will no longer need your frenemy to fix you. You will be able to fix yourself. And I'm out of time, so I gotta go. Hope it helps.